presentation. Thank you for presentation. While I am presented, yes, I am Ligita Zailskaitė-Jakštė from Kaunas University of Technology. Today I present the topic computational thinking for low qualified adult education challenges and implementation process. And this presentation will be made with colleagues, partners from different institutions, and you see in the slide all of them. So, as it was mentioned, my presentation is based on Erasmus project CAR2, and I'm involved in adult education as much as I participate in different EU activities and Erasmus projects. So therefore, I have sometimes to switch from academic life when we are working, talking, teaching students to those who have low skills in relationship with digital skills and AI usage and so on. And the idea of this project, Computational Seniors, is to think how all these principles of computational thinking may be used, not only using computers, but as well how it is possible to use without computers. This means that even my personal experience that usually those older people are afraid of technologies. They are still, despite that they have phones, they use different social media channels, okay, but in order to do more tasks, they are afraid and their approach is different. So therefore, it's like even in this project, we have to switch our thinking in another way and to understand this target with low qualified adults, seniors, and to provide them the content which will be useful for them. And of course, we have to think about teachers who works with this target group. And these teachers, sometimes they are volunteers. I don't know how in your countries, but I started to communicate with different organizations, and they mentioned that these volunteers who provide trainings, for example, for particular age or seniors, and sometimes even they don't get salaries, it's just for satisfaction, I would say. And therefore, we have such context, and even I know more about Lithuanian context, but of course, our partners have other issues and challenges related with this implementation process as well. So now I'll present the aim of and objectives of this presentation, because I usually like to follow the requirements of scientific conferences. So to present the integration process of computational thinking methodology into adult learning programs is focused on key aspects, implementation strategies, and challenges encountered with the computational seniors project. And the objectives. So at first I will just present the need of the computational thinking in adult education, to present the key aspects of implementation process and the challenges which we face. And it was interesting, as I mentioned, we have to go out from our bubble, from our thinking, and to see what we would propose to those lower qualified people. And it's interesting that when I talk directly with them, they have fears, and later I'll talk about piloting process. When I invited, we have such like NGO, third age university. This means to this university belongs people, seniors who are 55 and old. I don't know, maybe in your countries the same. But when I started to talk with these people, they told, we are not sure that we have enough competencies to pilot your content, which you prepared in your project. But so therefore, my clarification was like, in this project, like testing the content, it's like just to read, to use, everything is loaded on the platform Articulate, and you just have to read and to evaluate. What is your opinion about this content? So it was like simple clarification without high concepts in order to make those people to trust themselves that they can do this. So, and justification related with computational thinking, personally for me, it was really interesting to read one more time all these concepts and how to apply them, for example, for problem solving and so on. And the usefulness of this methodology, computational thinking, is approved in K-12 education. But when we are talking about low qualified people, we see that there is a gap of this principles application, despite that some studies show that it's useful for cognitive stimulation in elderly population. So this project in all the title is Enhancing Low-Qualified Adult Inclusion Through Computational Thinking, and 5 partners and coordinator is in Spain. And try to see the project's aim. So to introduce the computational thinking methodology in the equation of basic skills in adult learning programs, and to show that it's not only for those people who have high digital skills, but even for those who don't have, and to, as I mentioned, not only to use computers in implementation in hands-on activities, but of course to do some tasks without computers. So target groups: adult trainers, low-qualified adults, adult training organizations, and public-private organizations. But as it was mentioned previously, it's still quite difficult to engage those people because some of them are not. They are not believe that they can do this. They are busy, of course, because now our seniors are in the gardens in fresh air, and therefore even when I contacted the president of certain age associations, she told it's sorry, but this period it's not so good because they are gardening and doing other things. So we should think about a period during which we want to do piloting and so on. So we have 5 work packages, and currently we are in the second work package, and this work package is going to the end. And I'll talk a little bit later about all the status of this package, but the final stage is piloting of open educational resources for adult trainers. So all the content which will be created during this period is under Creative Commons licenses. So this means that it will be possible to use it without any restrictions, and of course dissemination both. There are flyers, newsletters, posters, and so on. And one of interesting thing which was in this project that we had to create piloting committees. So in every country, partners country, we had to create piloting committee to present the aims of the project. And this piloting committee will be responsible for quality of the content created in this project. So here you see just some organizations, if you see something to you from Lithuania, but I'm happy that we covered almost all the parts of Lithuania. and the modules. It was discussion among partners, what should be content, why we should provide content in such a way, and so on. So these topics covered the main basic aspects of computational thinking and justify why it's important, why education is important in general, and even if you have higher knowledge of computational thinking, how it will help, what kind of strategies it should be used, and how it will help people or disadvantage adults. And of course, during the process, it was many challenges, because imagine if different module is created by different partner. This means we should be sure that all the content is consistent, the visual presentation should be consistent, and other issues. So we have to overcome and key questions which arise for us. It was related with the main principles which we should use, and challenges and opportunities which exist in this field, and who is responsible in general in every country, and how to make a common product which will be applicable in this project and will be useful in every country, and so on. So every module should have, it was like our agreement, so case studies, some exercises, gamified activities, challenges, knowledge testing, and so on. And later I'll show, if you want to know more about this project, at the end of my presentation, I'll show the link to the project, but now I just show some like print screens from the platform Articulate, where you may see how it's simple done, and how it's simple to use. On the left side, you see like the progress line, the main topics which will be in this particular, for example, first module, and these cycles show which content you have read, and some simple like activities to mark particular fields. And we decided to concentrate our attention to four main key aspects of computational thinking. So decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithm. So we apply this every day, but maybe we don't recognize this. And in this open educational resources, you may find like recommendations how to apply in daily or real life problem solutions in daily life, and of course how it apply in your professional career and so on. So here's the print screen from module 3, integration computational thinking in adult education, and one more example from related with some understanding key concepts of effective education, what is important, and of course some like methods which will be used in this particular field for lower qualified education. If you make photos and happy, but all this content is online, and you may find it and to use. So these methods related to this project-based learning, program-based learning, collaborative learning, experimental learning, self-directed learning, and flipped classrooms. So it's like a recommendation to use them in order to obtain this computational thinking knowledge. And here are the results after the testing. So it's just Lithuanian results, because in this stage we have to do the piloting testing of these modules at the end of the month. So therefore, we're still waiting some results from our partners. So as you see, some demographic characteristics of participants, it's according to the project requirements. We had to engage 30 adult trainers for in this testing process, and here you see the gender numbers and education and age. And evaluation of the modules. We asked to evaluate coherence across the module, relevance of the content, clarity of the explanations, and usefulness for the real teaching. And you see that these evaluations are quite positive, but I just want to mention that before we made some meeting online with all these adult teachers and explained about the purposes, showed how it should be done, and told that in case you need something, you may call or write and so on, in order to make them trust in themselves. And here you see their opinion about recommendations. It's we used Likert scale in this for this evaluation, and the 5-point Likert scale was used. So from strongly disagree and to strongly agree. It's interesting that I found out that two evaluators, respondents, told that strongly disagree, that they don't recommend, but I guess it's just a mistake, because there is not correlation. Other evaluations are very positive, that in this context it's really good, but they will not recommend some just numbers. And suggestions. We asked these respondents, participants, to provide some suggestions, so it was really positive. And in some cases, I think that maybe they just they had opportunity to evaluate all the modules or choose just one. So it's really positive, and the recommendation to use AI tools. One, as I mentioned, that we try to avoid using many technologies in this our module, but anyway, recommendations are very good for future our project, for future plan, to provide brief historical and cultural context, but still it was provided a little bit short introduction, and provide more interactive examples related to everyday situations. It was like agreement how many of these, but still for those respondents, it's a need for more even practical examples. And the challenges, main challenges are related with, I may guess, with target audience, how to engage all these old teachers, for old people, seniors, and others related with implementation process. So as I mentioned, it's fear of older people that they don't have enough competencies to do, for example, piloting. Low engagement, maybe it's related with this particular season, because now it's summer. To appropriate time, and as I mentioned, it's related with some activities which do seniors outside, and we need time to to change the time to change mind to for those even adult teachers to believe that this content is really useful. And with design process and implementation, as I mentioned, it was challenges related to this consistency of the micromodules and how to ensure that all the modules will be in similar type, in similar lengths, in similar like even words should be, and even when I had to translate these micromodels, we translated with colleagues, but I to our national languages, but it was challenged to write the same, to find the same keywords and to use consistently through all these modules. And relationship between time spent on engagement and attitude change. So in conclusion, I'm happy to say that primary evaluation shows that about 92% of the respondents who participated in piloting process would recommend the project open educational resources. And of course, there are many challenges in this project as well, but I hope we will succeed. And if you want to...
Questions, please.